welcome to A Side of Popcorn. We get together every other week. Every other week to hang out and talk about movies here on CouchCapades. That's Rose.
Hi.
I'm John, and if you're watching the video version, things look a little different. Or maybe a lot different.
I mean, yes.
Because we're on a couch, and we're in our new set that's not set up yet.
We have windows behind us. This might be the only time that you guys see these windows. Who knows?
Who knows? This is Superman Returns with A Side of Popcorn, the podcast where we just talk about movies. This season on A Side of Popcorn, we were doing Superman, leading up to James Gunn's Superman, and also when we started CouchCapades, called the Geek Level, Superman was like the first piece of content we ever created.
Yeah, so it was Superman v. Batman.
So we wanted to go back to where it all started this season and just watch all the Superman movies. Everything kind of lined up together. So welcome to it. Thank you so much. If you're listening on podcast services, please like and rate. Give us comments on what you think of the Superman movies. If you're on YouTube, do the same thing. Subscribe. We've got all sorts of other content for you. Let's Plays, other podcasts, hangouts on live streams, all that fun stuff. And if you're awesome enough, if you got that tier 2 subscription, yes, tier 2 membership here on CouchCapades, you get the watch-alongs, where you get to hang out with us as we watch all these movies, if possible. Looking at you, Superman.
Yeah, obviously, if we're in theaters, we can't share those, but we'll share all the others.
We'll share all the others the best way we possibly can.
Yep.
Rose.
Yes?
One, I have to get used to being on a couch with you in podcast form, which is kind of weird, throwing me off a little bit.
I mean, we do record on a couch pretty often.
Right? But this is Superman Returns.
Yes.
Superman Returns came out in 2006. Hold on, do I have the specific date? I think I just lost it. Nope, I don't have it. 2000, screw it. 2006, directed by Bryan Singer, stars Brandon Routh, Kevin Spacey, Kate Bosworth. Runtime about 2 hours and 24 minutes, I believe, or was it 34 minutes?
June 28th, 2006.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So, first off, right off the bat, let's go ahead and get this one out of the way. We do not condone anything that Bryan Singer or Kevin Spacey have done.
No.
That's not what we're about here on CouchCapades. No. But unfortunately, because they're both in this movie and they have had these allegations against them and victims coming forth, we believe the victims.
Yes.
That's how we're going to say it. And it's unfortunate that Bryan Singer has directed so many superhero movies. Before we started recording, I thought about him like, oh my God, he's directed 4 of the 7 X-Men movies.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Oh, shit. So you will hear this again. We're going to remove that for the time being and just focus on the movie as is. But I wanted to make sure Rose and I were like, we don't condone that. That's bullshit. Get wrecked, Bryan Singer and Kevin Spacey. But we wanted to make sure you know where we stood on that one. So plain and simple. Now that we got that, let's just talk about Superman Returns.
Do it.
And just, you know what? Let's just jump into this bad boy and tell me your overall thoughts, Rose. What
are we doing overall thoughts, or you want the little blurb?
Oh, give me the blurb. Yes, thank you.
In this sequel to the classic films, Superman returns after a 5-year absence, only to find that the world has moved on without him. As he tries to rebuild his life, a threat posed by Lex Luthor puts everything he loves at risk.
Yeah.
I believe I got that from IMDb.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're starting off with just surface level thoughts. No spoilers. I understand it's almost a 20-year-old movie. I wanted to see John's face with that.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah. It's almost 20 years old.
It's almost 20 years old. Yeah. I remember seeing this when I was in college at the only theater in the cowboy town that I went to college at. It was a $1 theater in our terms. That was the high-end theater, and I was like, okay, real fast. I went to go pick up these tickets. Now that I'm remembering this, in 2006, and in my head, I was thinking like $7-8 when movies cost that much, going to, or maybe even $10, go to midnight premieres. It was $3.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
as we've got our tickets to Superman. And just to date, so we have our tickets to Fantastic Four, and that was like $40 now.
Yeah. That's for 2 tickets.
2 tickets.
You probably bought like 4 or 5 tickets.
Probably. Yeah, probably actually.
Because you always go with a crew of people.
Yeah, we always we had a crew of people, and like depending on which theater we were at, obviously at college, I think maybe 3 people went, but when we were back at home and the whole crew went, we had like 10 people.
Yeah.
And it cost us maybe $50.
Yeah.
Which is now insane.
Because we knew the budget-friendly theaters to go to.
Exactly. God.
Yeah.
God, we're old. Why are we doing this?
Welcome to it.
All right. Give me your high-level thoughts. Let's talk about Superman Returns.
High-level thoughts. It had been a while since I had watched this movie. And it's been a few weeks since we watched this movie.
Oh, yeah. There we go. Let's go ahead and break the fourth wall on that one, too. If you're watching the watch-along, we're at the old place. Yeah. And then we moved.
Then we moved, and now we're recording the podcast. So now I'm just like, I should have taken those kind of notes. I took so many notes during the movie, and we'll get to those.
Sure, absolutely.
High-level thoughts. It was a movie. There was Superman. I thought that it was, no huge spoilers here, much better than a lot of the Superman movies that we've watched this season.
Sure, absolutely.
I thought that Brandon Routh did a fine job.
Yeah.
I mean, he's no Chris Reeve. But
no, he's not. But comparative, when you think about it, Brandon Routh did a pretty good job. As those are big shoes to fill. And I think he did a good job.
Yeah.
Not the best.
Nah.
But I'm not going to hate on the guy. Like I have notes on mine of what I thought of Brandon Routh as well. Mm-hmm. So I think he did a decent job.
Sure. That's totally fair. How about you? High-level thoughts.
High-level thoughts. Oh, man. This one's a hard one.
Because you're more familiar with this movie.
Yes.
Like, I was very familiar with Superman 1.
Yeah.
And this was more of your Superman movie.
Yeah, like I remember watching all the Superman when I was a kid, and then you and I watched them too. But the first one that I dove headfirst into was this Superman. And
I would say the first one was actually Smallville.
Yeah, Smallville was like kind of my
full. Because Smallville was started before this one, right?
Yes.
I'll double check. Yes. You keep talking.
Yeah, so like growing up, obviously I watched some of the Superman movies, but I wasn't like invested in them as much as I was with Smallville and this. Like they kind of related or connected with me a little bit more than the Chris Reeves movie. Now, looking back at 38, yes, I connect more with the Chris Reeves movies than I do with these. But
Smallville was 2001, October of 2001. So yes, it does predate this movie.
Okay, I think I actually started watching Smallville on the 3rd episode.
Yeah, you were early.
I was early on that one.
I was a few seasons in.
But for what it's worth, this movie's actually pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not the best, it's not the worst. If you think about it in the concept of all the Superman movies we've watched so far, I still think that the Donner cut is the best one.
Sure.
And then 1. And then I think I'd put this here. I would actually put this as 3 above the original 2.
Definitely.
And then God help us all at 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And so like there are things that I like about this movie, then things that I don't like, and there's weird rehashings because it did feel like it's just Superman 1 again with the plot of the land.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of
we'll get to that.
We will get to that.
We will get to that.
There's a lot of things like we will fully get to, but like serviceable in the idea of a Superman movie.
Sure.
And how do you do that in 2005 when it's been honestly, God, like 20 years? What do you do with a Superman movie? So it's very interesting watching this now.
That was closer to 30.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was it 30 years from
1978?
Oh, yeah, I guess that's true.
To 2005. So
I was
25.
Thinking 4 to this one. So it was
4 was 86?
84 or 86.
Yeah.
We were both born. So it's
then that would have been 86 at least.
Yeah. So like it has been because I remember like Superman 4, there was a line that says, "Oh, we'll see you in 20 years." And everyone's like, "Oh, that's really funny because it's been 20 years since a Superman movie came out, and it was Superman Returns.
Superman 4 was 87.
87. Okay, cool. It was almost 20 years.
Yeah.
But it's a movie, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a popcorn flick. It had, to me, some of the better action scenes for Superman, but that's also with the CGI. But also the CGI is kind of jank, and I did relate it to The Matrix Reloaded.
That's fair. That is totally fair.
Again,
and that's not a bad comparison.
That's not a bad comparison.
Like, high tech for the time.
Yeah. But now in 2025.
But now we're 20 years later.
I will say, I still think the plane scene is one of the best, like, sequences in superhero. Like, it's up there with Nightcrawler entering the White House. I think that sequence is so well shot and is so, like, moving with the music and everything, and just what he does and just how the plane's spinning. He's like, we'll get into it. We're going to do it.
Okay. Real fast.
Go. Talk. Get me off this ledge.
You're talking about superhero scenes.
Yes.
What about the Daredevil hallway scene?
Okay. Oh, man. Could you imagine the list of best sequences? What is that, season 1 of Daredevil, where he just beats the shit out of people? Oh God, that would be so hard. That might be my number one. I love how brutal that is. I love how
I thought you liked the cinematography.
Oh yeah, well I love this. Like, I love the one shot.
It's
the violence. It's the one shot of Daredevil. We're gonna get into some weird shit. Like
we'll get to that later.
Get that. I am a sucker for one shots. I'll be honest with you. But yeah, I had like ups and downs. Like this was one of the better. This is one of those movies that I'm like, oh, this is great. What in God's name are we doing? Oh, we're coming. Like it was actual roller coaster of emotions with this one.
That being said, I did think that this was a better pacing than, again, a lot of the older Superman movies.
Yes. I 100% agree. Like it actually doesn't feel like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Like
it's still long.
It's still long, and there's some little pacing issues, but it's not like
it's not
detrimental.
It's not the old Superman movies. Every scene is about 20% longer than it should be.
Yeah. This is just
it has some pacing issues.
It has pacing issues, and I, as much as I say I like this movie, I will also say this. It doesn't feel like a Superman. It feels like a Superman movie, but I don't feel like Superman's in it enough.
That's fair.
I don't even think Clark is in it enough.
No.
For a movie where your main character's the title is called Superman, it feels like he's only in it 50% of the movie. And this movie's literally about Lois and
trying to move on.
Lois trying to move on, and Lex. I feel like they are the main characters of this movie.
They really are.
And then Superman's kind of a weird vehicle of the storytelling. Mm-hmm. Of like, oh, Superman's back, and now hijinks are happening, and it's just a coincidence that Lex is now out of prison at the same time. Superman's back, but Clark's now back, which means Superman's back, but the world's greatest reporter, even Joe Schmo on a podcast could have figured that out, that, oh, Clark Kent's back, and now Superman's back. Oh, I wonder what that means. Again.
Means nothing.
It means nothing, but it's those little things that are just like, what? How did everyone miss that one?
Fair.
We can get past the glasses. But you missed that Homeboy was gone for 5 effing years.
So was Clark.
And so was Clark.
Yep.
And everyone was just like, oh, Clark went to find himself. And oh shit, Superman's gone too.
Yeah. It's a little crazy. All the conspiracy theories.
All right.
Okay. So.
Yes.
Let's get to the ratings.
Absolutely.
Before we get into spoilers, let's talk about ratings. So you're going to give yours first, but let's run through the rating system again for those who are not familiar, because we have words attached with our ratings, and you can do a 0.5.
Just thank you. I can't find it.
Okay, so we have...
I'm broken, guys. I'm a broken man right now.
We have a 1 is actively harmful to society.
Number 2, a 2 is toxic and dreadful, or dreadful.
3 is awful.
4 is bad.
5 is meh or indifferent.
6 is okay or fine.
7 is good.
8 is great or a bona fide good time.
9 is amazing, fantastic, or brilliant.
And 10 is a masterpiece or a shining star for society. This cracks me up that we had that. Thanks, Finn, for that one.
It works.
It does work. Honestly,
It
it really
works.
does work because it broadens out that idea of the rating system because
Yeah.
everyone thinks a 10 is perfect. Nothing's perfect.
No,
And for us, like,
but it can be a
it
masterpiece.
can be a masterpiece and all that fun stuff. So
Okay, so what's your rating for this movie? From 2006.
2006.
Sorry.
No,
You still
you're
need the
yeah, I see.
system.
Sitting on it and thinking about it, I'm gonna give it a 7. No, I'm gonna give it a 6.5. It was okay. It was between okay and good.
Honestly, I'm right there with you on the 6.5. I very much agree.
Yeah, like it's
Like I don't know that it's all the way to good, but it is a little bit more than okay or fine.
yeah.
Like it's on the good side of fine.
Yeah, and I think that's why I'm giving it like a 6.5.
Yeah.
It's on the good side of fine.
Yeah.
Like, again, it's a weird, it's not weird, but it's serviceable. It's fun. It has Superman saving people,
Yeah.
which is always awesome.
Yes.
There is no actual like fight scene because I mean, who the hell is Superman going to fight? He's a god.
There was a fight scene, sir. We will get to it.
There is a fight scene, but
We will get to it.
Is it a fight? Is it actually a fight scene?
It shows up in my notes.
Oh, okay. So
It's okay. It's okay. I got you.
Rose has got us. Rose has got us.
Yes. I took notes through the whole movie.
Oh my god. But yeah, like there are certain things that kind of hold it back. One, my criticism on it being a Superman movie or being titled Superman movie. I know it's going to sound crazy, like sounds crazy, but
Superman Returns. Did he?
did he? Like he's back,
But like
he's
not doing a whole lot.
like he's saving people, which is what we want.
Yeah.
And there's some great shots and some great monologues that I absolutely love.
But it's more of what does his return mean for Lois and Lex?
Yes. That's 100% what it is. It's not the triumph. Like they do a good job of like, oh, Superman's back, and we have this monologue of everything, or not monologue, but like montage of Superman. Now it's back, and everyone's like, woo! But then it's the feelings of Lois and being left, and Lex and losing his almost to the point of like the Joker and Batman. Like the Joker never wants to kill Batman because without Batman, the Joker's nothing.
Yeah.
Like
life is boring.
Life is boring. It's the
has
yin
no
to the yang.
meaning.
And so it's kind of sort of in that same vein, in my head at least,
Fair.
that like without Lex or without Superman, Lex is just a bad guy.
Yeah.
With Superman, he really is the greatest criminal mastermind and all this stuff. Like you have your yin to your yang that you have to fight with. And so there's this that was the more central idea behind it, along with the weird love triangle with Richard, the Perry White's nephew. I thought it was son.
Nephew.
Yeah, which James Marsden, again, we said it in the watch along. Please don't tell me that James Marsden's a bad guy. I actually really like.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
James Marsden, I think, is a great actor. On top of his character is Richard, one of the nicest mother effers on the face of this planet.
Yeah.
He does not deserve Lois.
No. Lois doesn't deserve him.
Lois doesn't deserve
him.
Yes,
that's the way to say it.
Lois does not deserve him because he is such a nice guy.
Yeah.
And he cares
He's
about
a sweetheart.
Jason, and he cares. He seems like a good freaking guy.
Yeah.
And I will say, let me say one more thing why I kind of like this movie a little more. Freaking Jimmy is a kid.
Yeah.
He's not a 40-year-old man with 3 kids hanging out with Clark going to effing Smallville.
True.
He is a kid, and it was fun to actually see Clark and Jimmy interact with each other because they are besties.
Yeah.
They have fun with each other. They kind of get each other. So that was fun to see in a couple of those sequences. But
okay, so I think now we're gonna start the spoilers.
Let's all calm back down. Let's get into some spoiler territory now.
Let's start running through the movie.
Let's run through the
Let's
plot.
see my notes.
That's so.
Oh no, you don't need your note. You don't need your plot.
I don't need my plot.
You don't need your plot. Words on screen talk about scientists finding where Krypton was. Superman disappeared for 5 years. The movie starts with John's favorite Jor-El quote, Father, son, ... Son becomes father. Father dies, ... Something like that. We're off to a good start. We're off to a great start, guys.
Oh, shit. Yeah, but let's just get unhinged. Keep on going. Like, oh, wait.
Now here's how to do opening credits. Make it pretty and put it in space. Because we've had so many issues with the opening credits for Superman. Okay.
Okay, hold on.
What?
I'm giving you the damn quote.
Oh.
So the quote actually goes, "You will make my strength your own. You will see my life through your eyes as your life will be seen through mine. The son becomes the father, and the father, the son." Like, that is such a beautiful quote.
They continued the quote, and there was something about the father dies. It was very strange, and I didn't remember ever hearing that part of the quote before, and I was just like, father dies? What?
I love you. All right. Okay, so from here on out, we're making this a bit now, where you have to control the plot of the movie and take these unhinged notes. I'm down. I'm down.
It's time to move on to an old lady on her deathbed talking about how happy she was to give Lex a second chance. Her family is outside waiting to get in and help her, in parentheses, and find out who gets the money. Lex opens the door, rips off his wig, hands it to a little girl. She screams. He takes the maid and leaves.
Time out.
Yes.
Can we talk about how weird that scene was?
Oh, God, it was so weird.
Especially with the...
It was so strange.
Especially with her saying something to the effect of, "You've shown me pleasures that I never knew existed."
Yeah.
And I just ooged. And we're like...
I was just like, oh,
we're not even
please
5 minutes
no.
into this movie, and I'm like...
Yeah. Yeah. There was a lot.
Why did that child scream? I have that note.
I don't know.
I have a note, like, why did the girl scream?
Like, it's a wig.
Yeah, it's a wig. I don't understand.
She looked like she was like 8 or 9. She's old enough to know about wigs.
I mean, in my defense, or not even the defense, in my comical way, I would scream too if I saw Kevin Spacey. So I'm going to just give her that one.
No, absolutely.
But okay, the Superman fanfare always slaps.
Oh yes,
and they did it right in this opening sequence.
I
was just like, damn, this is good. It still works.
Yeah.
I think it's in the echelon that it will always work.
Yes, because John Williams did an amazing job. I tried to call him James Williams. I don't know who that is. Oh, look, Martha is alive again. Who knew?
Hey, look, Martha's still alive. I have that in my notes. So yeah, we cut to Martha.
She's listening to the radio. It suddenly stops. Everything starts shaking like an earthquake. Something lands outside in the field. She's in her family home. The radio comes back on. Clark is back, looking for his mom to take care of him.
Okay. So, in this scene, there was a gentleman who was hanging out with Martha. That's not Jonathan.
Was there again, it's been a little bit and I don't remember the other guy.
Yeah, there was a guy, like, it was a scene. They cut to the Kent farm, and some guy was getting in the truck, and he's like, "Have a good night, Martha."
Right.
And I think, if I remember correctly, there was supposed to be like an extended version of that. Like, Martha just, I'm not going to call him a gentleman caller or anything, but just had a friend. Ooh. But they were like, it was kind of just like, hey, Martha has moved on, but like, she's also alone because her son's not there anymore. So
she's
there's
all
a
by
little bit
herself.
Of that.
Like, I don't blame her.
But yeah, then she's cleaning the dishes, and then the earthquake happens because the meteor shows up. And I guess no one in Smallville or NASA picked up this meteor.
They're just used to it. There's always meteors in Smallville.
Yeah,
who cares?
That's why, meteors in Smallville.
It just means things.
So yeah, you're right. I'm not gonna lie to you. So, but I was just like, no one else caught this. And then Clark falls out in the black Superman suit, which was badass, to be honest with you. I love that. That was really cool. That was really, really cool. And I have a question. I made this note.
Okay.
When is this movie set? Because that truck is really old.
Oh, jeez.
Like that's
the whole movie.
Truck.
It's just like, okay, it has the look and the fashion of like 40s or 50s, but the technology of the 90s.
Yeah, I was very confused of the setting of this movie.
I don't know.
So
it is Metropolis, and they did try and actually make it Metropolis in just New York.
God,
not just New York.
I loved this Metropolis.
Yeah.
This Metropolis felt good.
They did a good job.
Like, it's not Sydney. They filmed this in, not Perth. It's an Australian city. God.
Queensland?
No. Was it Australia? No, I know it's Australia, but I don't remember what the actual city was. But yeah, that's where they set this one because they didn't want it to be New York.
Yeah,
and which makes sense. Like this felt more believable than New York's a metropolis.
Sydney, Australia.
Oh, it was Sydney. Oh shit. Okay, I thought it was
Fox Studios Australia in Sydney.
Okay, cool beans. Cool beans.
Additional scenes were captured in various locations around New South Wales, including Newcastle and Breeza.
Okay, sweet.
There we go. Anything else about Smallville? Because I'd slightly move on from there.
I do think it's really funny in one of the shot of Martha driving up to the meteor. You see a car behind her.
Oh.
Yeah, there are actually two cars in that shot. And I was
there
like,
you go. More people did notice
that's true.
Meteor.
I didn't notice that anytime, but now since we're rewatching, I was like, wait, there's another car behind Martha.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I just thought that was funny.
My next note says, Lex is now on a boat out at sea. Maybe the Arctic? It's not clear. Immediately after. Yep, they're in the Arctic. Lex talks about Prometheus and what constitutes a god. Lex says he doesn't want to be a god. He just wants to bring fire to the people and get paid for it. I guess he didn't learn much from Prometheus.
Okay, you're going to have to help me out on this one.
So, Prometheus formed man.
Okay, from clay, yes.
From clay.
Okay.
And gave man fire.
Yes.
Zeus was not happy about the fire part.
Okay.
Prometheus was a titan. He was not one of the gods.
Okay.
So titans and gods are two different things.
Yes, they are.
So Prometheus gave man fire. To retaliate against him, Zeus strung Prometheus up to a cliff and has an eagle, which is Zeus's animal, peck out his liver every single day in his small intestines and eat it every day because he's a titan, so it regenerates.
Ugh.
For eternity.
Ugh.
All because he gave man fire. I mean, Sisyphus with the
rock,
like the Greeks were very serious about their punishments.
Damn, I did not know that.
So I'm just like, clearly Lex is not learning from that myth. Lex has found the Fortress of Solitude in parentheses again. We're not entirely like it's a sequel to the classic films, but also not.
Yeah, I think that's another reason that I dinged it because it didn't know what it was in the sense of what kind of Superman story are we following 1 and 2 and Donner, which we kind of are.
Yeah,
but then
like the Donner cut was released almost because of this movie. It seemed like
that's what it feels like to me because the Donner cut came out after this movie.
Yeah, like a year after.
Yeah, and so it feels weird that it didn't know if we're retelling Superman, if we're continuing the Superman story.
Yeah,
and there was like Parker Posey, which I love Parker Posey. God damn,
she did a great job.
I love Parker Posey. She has that comment, that line that says, "It's like you've been here before." And Lex and Kevin Spacey was like, kind of gives that look, like, "Well, I have."
Yeah.
But it's never it's always like in veil or like shaded.
Yeah.
Like, are we actually a sequel?
And I feel like that was kept ambiguous on purpose, but still doesn't really work.
But then there's another scene close to the end of the movie, which we'll get to, where how Lex got out of prison.
Yeah.
Actually, they say it like Lex because actually here in a little bit they're going to actually talk about Lex getting out of prison and like Superman never showed up to the hearing.
Yeah.
So continuing on with your unhinged plot points.
So it shows up the Fortress of Solitude. Why is it still standing? It was destroyed at the end of the Donner cut. Lex triggers a message from Jor-El, and now Lex thinks he's Jor-El's son. This is strange. Lex wants to learn everything from Jor-El.
Tell me about crystals. Tell me everything about crystals.
Everything.
I loved how they implemented Jarell in the fortress in this one.
Mhm.
Like comparing it to 1 and 2 and Donner
Mhm.
Cut, where like this one was like Jarell's hologram was all over the place.
That's right.
And I was like, damn, that's actually what a great shot.
And I feel like that's probably something they would have done in the 80s if that was easier to do.
Easier to do, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, I thought, I was like, man, that I distinctly remember just the different, the rotating shot with Lex, and the Jarell is all over these different columns, and I was like, man, that is actually really effing cool.
Yeah. Then we're back with Clark. He's in his bed in Kansas. He's awake and has a nice moment remembering his childhood and playing with the dog. It's cute.
My note on this one is, God, Brandon Routh was just a kid.
Martha is happy he's back and mourns with him about Krypton. Anything else about the Smallville segment?
No, I think that's it.
Clark shows up at the Daily Planet. Jimmy is happy to see him.
At least Jimmy is young. That's what I put on my. Jimmy's young. All right, cool. I'm happy with this.
Yeah. Perry's given Clark a job. Got to keep him at the planet. Oh no! Lois moved on and has a kid and is engaged to some guy. The kid looks just like Lois, according to Jimmy. Just like Lois.
Oh God.
Yeah. So, notes about
this one
his
was
introduction back into the planet.
It was funny that here's your. Okay, you got your job back, and Clark's like, thanks, Chief, for giving my job back. Don't thank me. Thank so and so for dying. And I'm just like,
Perry has no tact.
Frank Langella, I think that's how you pronounce it. God, what a great Perry White.
Yeah, he did a good job. Just no nonsense.
Langella. Okay. I'm making sure I'm pronouncing that one. Yeah.
Fair.
And like this whole scene of like Clark is like looking at this photograph, and then Jimmy does the like, and I'm like, shit, that's great.
Like, honestly, this was probably some of my favorite slapstick, and that could just be because it's more modern.
Yeah. The comedy was soft. I'm going to say soft on that one. And not full slapstick, but just soft comedy that was like, okay, we get it. Nice little breaking of the serious moment with nothing that's more. I just heard the term. No, it's a different term of how that works, where you're having a serious conversation and then another character interjects something. Mm-hmm. It's actually, there's an actual writing term for that. And I do not remember what that's called, but I don't think this is the same idea, but it is, because you see Clark looking at this picture and going, oh shit, there's Lois, there's this kid, there's this guy. And Jimmy's
he breaks the picture.
And he breaks the picture just after Jimmy says, oh yeah, or that's the looking just like him. And then like Clark registers it, that's Lois's kid, and he snaps the picture. And then Jimmy's just like, I'm going to take that away from you now.
Yeah.
This is bad.
Okay, then we go into this sequence of going back and forth between Lex and his goons, who are back in the old lady's basement, and Jimmy and Clark in a bar, and Lois on the plane, which you mentioned the plane scene earlier.
The plane sequence, yes.
So Lex has a miniature city in the old lady's basement. Jimmy and Clark go to a bar to drink. Lois is on a plane that's going to help launch the space shuttle.
Okay.
So those are my introductions to the three...
To this three-pronged attack. Okay. Are Pomeranians that vicious? Because remember, Parker Posey walks in. They walk into this old lady's yacht club, and there were two Pomeranians. When we got introduced
at the beginning of the movie,
we got to introduce
there
two
were
Pomeranians. And then they walk into this the old lady's mansion that Lex did things with, and they walk in, and Parker Posey looks, and they
she even says,
"Weren't there two of them?" And this Pomeranian has eaten this other Pomeranian. Yeah. First off, I don't know if Pomeranians are that vicious. I know they are a small but hardy breed.
They are. I have met a lot of very angry, very aggressive Pomeranians.
Uh-huh.
I believe they're in the same family as Chows, if that helps.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
And you don't want to cross a Chow.
Sure.
Like, more so than you don't want to cross a pit bull.
Okay.
Based off of the dogs that I have known of the various breeds.
Okay.
I'm sure that people will disagree with me. That is totally fair.
I was just kind of like, I found that interesting. Just this dog ate this other dog. That's a very weird shot to put in there.
I feel like that normally wouldn't happen, so I don't know what happened with these dogs.
Yeah. And then it gets weird because this is when you truly find out Kal Penn is in this movie.
No. We're getting to him.
Wait, again, I love Kal Penn. Kal Penn, you're the best, man.
We're getting to him.
I'm so excited we're going to get a Harold and Kumar 4. Are you kidding me? And everyone's back? Hell yes.
Okay, so we have all of these things. They've been to the fortress. Lex has taken all the crystals.
Yes, okay.
Lex has a tiny sliver of crystal from the fortress shaved off and dropped into the water. It then shuts down power to the mini city, then the entire city. The plane Lois is on is also affected and restarts. Things could go bad. ... Quick. I'm very good at my notes. I will take no notes on my notes. Power comes back on everywhere. The water is bubbling in the mini city. Kal Penn has no regard for his life. He has no regard for his own life. He might die. Oh, there we go. He's going to hide under the table. I'm sure he'll be fine. The mini city starts to crumble and break apart, and then the rest of the basement cracks. The shuttle on the plane tries to abort launch, but they can't, and the couplings are jammed. The shuttle is about to really take off while still attached to the plane. Clark hears that Lois is in trouble and springs into action. Time to change. ... In the middle of the street? I don't remember how he gets this change.
Okay, time out real fast. So, fun little fact.
Pretty sure it's magic.
Oh my God. So, fun little fact.
Uh-huh.
The bartender in that scene was Jimmy in the original movies.
Oh, that's right.
So that's a fun little fact. So it's fun to see Jimmy interacting with Jimmy.
Yes.
And then, yes, they're watching TV. They're at this bar. Clark is now kind of in this weird mopey, like, oh, I came back.
So
and
sad.
The girl I love has a kid now. When did I leave? That doesn't really say. Like again,
it's 5 years.
Well, no. It's been 5 years, but in the sense of when does this movie take place? Like, is it the Donner cut? And since you're here now, and you've already, did they bone? And he out the door when they heard someone like Krypton might be there. Let's
also just back up a second.
Uh-huh.
This is something that has bothered me since the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
That child is not 4.
No, it's not. No, it's not. No, he's not.
That child should be like 4 years old because you think Lois was not showing, possibly not pregnant when Clark left.
Yes.
At the oldest.
This child should be
That child should be maybe 5.
Yes.
Because time for pregnancy.
Yeah, this child's like 9 or 10.
Yeah.
So like there's a 5-year weird gap that we're missing. Unless, never mind, we'll get to it. We can get to it later because we're spoiling a 20-year-old effing movie. But yeah, so Clark sees the TV and he's like, oh crap, I have to jump into action.
Yeah.
So he runs out the bar and he runs past some people, like not down an alley, but I remember like there's a taxi and whatnot, and he does the chest Superman
chest
rip open. And there's the suit, brand new suit behind it.
Yeah.
And then we pick up where you're at.
Oh, I didn't take very many notes on the plane.
Oh God. Okay.
So go for it.
Okay. So Lois is kind of annoying the.
My next thing is he saves the plane. So
okay, cool. So Lois is kind of annoying the PR person that's in this plane. That somehow Richard Bronson is also there, who used to own like Verizon Wireless or Verizon Planes, and he got a cameo on this one. Yeah,
I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, one of the astronauts is like the coupling can't disengage or something like that. That's actually Richard Bronson. So like Lois is annoying, going, if this is such a monumental like launch, why isn't there more people covering it? Like, there's not very many people actually press covering this thing. And then the rocket, after Lex shuts down the world, or at least Smallville, or not Smallville, but Metropolis, somehow that energy field goes up to this plane, shuts it down. Everyone's like, oh crap, what's going on? And then everything comes back online. The couplings don't work. And then the rocket can't disengage and fires off.
Yeah.
And that's where Clark jumps in and flies. And like Lois, I almost dropped an F1. Some freaking reason doesn't have her seatbelt on, gets tossed around like a rag doll, should have a concussion, probably should have a couple broken bones because insert megaton rocket shot off.
Yes.
And she gets thrown in the back of the plane and is like pressed against the plane. She can't move. She looks out the window. The swell of music happens and she just sees the and she's like, no way.
No way.
My boyfriend's back and he's better than ever. And all of a sudden it's just she registers he's back. And that swell of music, which works, and then kind of watching, I'm like, kind of does it because the plane's kind of going to explode and showing off. But it was a very weird musical choice by John Powell. I think that's who actually did the music for this one. I don't think that's correct, though. I might be thinking of someone else.
I will find out.
It was just a very interesting, like, that swell of, oh, he's here. And then it switches to Superman on top of this plane and this rocket. He laser eyes the couplings to let the rocket go, lets the plane drop, and he's flying over and just lets it go past, or the rocket, and kind of guides it and throws it into space. Not probably hearing the people screaming that the plane is crashing.
I mean, yeah, he should be.
He should be, but he doesn't. And there's just this funny scene where, like, Superman Clark just kind of turns around and goes, "Oh shit, I need to save them."
It's just like, you didn't think about this?
You didn't think about that part, big boy?
Think about what would happen here?
So he flies, and again, I love the scene, is you get a shot of Clark flying down, and then there's this wide, the plane spinning, I'm probably going to miss that, he catches the plane, tries to pull it up on the wing, and I don't know why he tries to pull the wing up, then he rips the damn wing off, and then it starts to spiral, and there's this wide shot, beautiful shot of, you see Clark, Superman, flying around, dodging, circling it, and then gets underneath the plane and catches it on the, I think they're the Metropolis meteors, I don't know, but in a baseball field, he catches it and just like slows it down. You see this ripple effect on the plane.
Yeah, no, it's really cool, but it's also like he's completely forgotten in the past 5 years how Earth science works.
Exactly. It kills me. Cool sequence.
I'm just like,
effing kills me.
Very cool, but like, he grew up here.
Yeah, he grew up on this planet.
Like, what do you mean you don't know?
And he catches it and puts it down. The crowd goes wild. Mm-hmm. He opens the door and does makes the same lame joke. I hope this hasn't turned you off from flying. Statistically speaking, it's still the safest form of travel or something like that. And then flies off, and then Lois faints.
Yes.
I got you.
But Cal Penn is still alive. Cal Penn is still alive. We riot if Cal Penn dies. We love Cal Penn. And there's a giant section of what looks like the Fortress of Solitude in the middle of the mini city. What is Lex going to do with Crystal Land? Like, how are you growing crops here? Like, great question. Lex, just we'll get there. Okay, so I think this might be about the time. Back in the bullpen. Okay, keep on going. Perry wants to know everything about Superman and have pictures. Lois still can't spell. The power out. She's more committed to the power outage. Yeah. Lois is trying to report on the blackout, but Perry doesn't want it. How do you feel? Because Perry asked, like, is that a new cape? Or is that a new suit? Which was a nice nod of, it was a new suit. Yeah. And it's raised. The shield is raised, and there's actual Superman shield on the suit itself, like little printed shield. What do you think of the cape, though? I thought the cape was almost too rubbery. Yeah. I didn't like the cape. And then you pointed out that this was just depressed dad colors. And I was like, oh, crap, you're right. This is divorced dad Superman colors. Yes, from Superman 3. Yeah, I was like, damn. Mm-hmm. Damn. Clark gets to meet Lois's kid, Jason. Jason says that his mom has never talked about Clark. And I put in parentheses, deep cut. Savage. The only person that actually beat the hell out of Superman was Jason White. Lane. Was it Lane? They're not married. Oh, they're not? Oh, okay. They're not married. And from what I understand on the birth certificate, if they're not married, then I believe they go with the mother's name. Oh, okay. I don't know. I want to call out Jason. They never really say his last name. They really didn't say his last name. I want to call out a weird one real fast between this and when Clark first shows up. Sure. He's kind of creepy.
He's
The child?
No,
Yes.
no. Well, the child is, but Clark is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's super.
Yeah, like he has
slang on Lois.
forgotten all of his human manners.
Yeah, like he
just
slang on
doesn't
Lois.
care.
He's X-ray vision. Like, just it's very odd how it just.
Jason White,
Okay,
played by Tristan Lake LeBeau.
nice. Yeah, I just found it very odd that like.
Yeah. No, it was weird.
How weird that.
It was
they
weird.
made
Like
Clark
like-
very stalkerish, and I didn't
Yeah.
really like it.
he was a little too fascinated by Lois and everything around her.
Yeah, I didn't really like that.
Yeah. Lois is engaged to Perry's nephew, Richard. Back to Lex and Kitty, who now has a dog.
One dog.
I thought it was funny that Kitty had a dog.
Fair.
Lex is scheming. Clark and Lois talk on their way out of work. Clark wants to catch up. Lois blows him off hardcore, then dumps on him about how Superman didn't tell her goodbye. Then I put in parentheses, totally fair given the situation.
Yes.
Superman flies over Metropolis out to Lois's house. Damn,
Yeah.
she loaded. That's what I have in my notes.
Damn,
She loaded. It's a nice house.
It's a
and a plane.
Yeah, it is a beach or lakefront property or whatever.
Yeah, like what
Oceanfront property?
are they in like Long Island? Like what's that commute?
Yeah, I agree because Clark follows them flying. They land on this 2-story mansion. Richard's plane is out there, and you're like, damn, how much money do you guys make?
Seriously.
He's an editor.
Yeah.
And she's a reporter, which I don't.
Who's won a Pulitzer,
which doesn't make you much. We looked it up.
Yeah. Richard and Lois are arguing in the kitchen about how in love with Superman she was/is. Which is fair.
Fair. That's a good conversation to have.
Like Richard is trying his best. Like he really does the most in this movie.
Yeah.
He's such a sweetheart. He's trying to be a stand-up guy, like trying to make sure like he obviously loves and very much cares for Lois and like doesn't want to lose her, but also understands that it is her choice.
Yes.
So, and doesn't want to be with somebody who doesn't want to be with him.
Yeah.
Very important. Know your worth. Just saying.
No,
Just
I agree. 100%.
Superman flies up into space and listens to the world to see where he's needed. Lex is breaking into somewhere, maybe a museum?
Yeah,
It was a museum. I'm pretty sure it was a museum.
Looking for kryptonite. Yes.
Kitty is outside crashing a car to distract Superman into saving her instead of paying attention to the museum. This is a more complicated plot than Lex has gotten in previous movies. That's exactly what I have.
Yeah, this was the saving people montage.
Yeah.
And like they had the montage of Superman flying around saving people all over the world. Superman's back and all this stuff. And then it was this Kitty's they cut Kitty's brakes.
Yeah.
And she's flying through Metropolis, not trying to kill anyone. And Superman saves her. And it was very nice homage to Action Comics 1, where he's putting the car down.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly what it looks like in Action Comics 1. Like
nice.
they mirrored it. And I was like, again,
that's really cool.
The little touches of that, I'm all for. It's the painting broad strokes of this is Superman 1 again.
Yeah.
Kind of irks me in a weird way.
The next day, you good with moving on?
Yeah, I'm good.
The next day, there's a lot of footage from all over the world of Superman saving people in all kinds of situations. Clark is back at work. Lois wants to cover the blackout and museum robbery. She honestly does know a good story.
This was, again, that time where, you know how we always say, like, we wish we showed Lois being the reporter that she is? They did
this
it in this movie.
They did.
Yeah, they did a good job with this in this movie.
Jimmy mentions no one has seen Lex since his trial where he got off scot-free because Superman didn't show up as a witness.
Yep.
So we mentioned this once or twice.
Yeah.
But yeah, just one of those things. Lois gets to cover Superman. Clark gets the blackout. That's what Perry decides.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm. So, of course, Lois isn't going to let that stand, but you know. Back on the old lady's yacht, Kitty is mad at Lex, but Lex has his rock, so he doesn't care.
In my notes, we all wish Parker Posey hit Spacey harder. a lot harder.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
that's what I'm gonna just keep on
Yes.
throwing that jab at the world. So yes,
Absolutely. At the planet, everyone is working hard. Richard, Jason, and Jimmy go to get some food. Clark stays in the bullpen. Lois goes up to the roof to get some air. Superman comes to visit her and let her interview him. They go on a flight, and it's kind of intense. Back in the office, everyone is eating, and Lois's hair is just like all crazy from the flight.
Okay.
They did a good job with this.
They did a good job with the physics and like, oh, her hair is messed up.
Yeah.
I love the scene because Lois won a Pulitzer Prize for an article called "Why the World Doesn't Need Superman."
Yeah.
And when she's up there with Clark in the atmosphere, which I think she's going to die again, but Superman looks at her and goes, "You wrote how the world doesn't need me. They don't need a savior. But the problem is I can hear everything, and I hear people calling out for a savior."
Mhm.
And that, again, it's just those little nods of this creature is a god, and he wants to do right by the world and by protecting people and doing the damn thing. And again, I loved the little nuances of the father and the son, and then the being. He knows he's a savior. He knows what he needs to be.
Yeah.
And what you said in this article contradicts what you don't understand about the world, because I can hear what can you hear? She says nothing. I hear everything.
Yeah.
And I love that little nod of, I always wondered, how the hell does Clark get everywhere? How does he know what's happening? Which I know that's kind of the reason why he became a reporter, knows the ground, all that stuff. But then there's also that, like, oh, he has super hearing and he can hear everything going on, and he just pinpoints what he needs to go after. I love that.
Superman goes to the fortress and discovers all of his missing crystals that Lex took.
Yes.
Lois investigates the blackout and tracks it to one specific address, the old lady where Lex is now. Lois gets on the yacht with her kid because she is Mother of the Year, right up there with Lana.
Yeah, because she forgot Jason.
Yeah.
Like she
almost forgot Jason at school.
Yeah.
Like they were going to the party to celebrate her Pulitzer. Or to receive her Pulitzer?
Something like that. I wasn't 100% clear on that. It wasn't 100% clear to me. And
like,
then,
I couldn't tell how long ago she had gotten the Pulitzer.
Yeah, I thought it was like a year or two after, like a revenge, I hate this man.
Like
I
Superman is gone.
And all this crap. Yeah, it might have been like 5 years and
She pulled the Taylor Swift.
She did. You're right.
She pulled the Taylor Swift.
She pulled a T-Swift and just called out her ex and won awards for it. You're 100%
She did.
Right.
She did. It's fantastic.
Somewhere along the line in that whole montage a couple scenes ago, I do love like Clark fighting the bad guys and like he's being shot by a Gatling gun and it's just bouncing off.
Yeah.
And then the guy pulls out just a 9mm or something, shoots him in the eye, and they slow-mo that bitch.
Yeah.
And it just...
That was a very cool shot.
If I remember correctly, that was Brandon Routh's last shot of the production.
Nice.
But I love that little smirk of, come on. Really?
Come on now.
Really?
Don't.
Why'd you think you could do this?
Just don't.
Don't do this.
So she gets on the yacht with her kid. Then the yacht takes off and she's stuck, ... face to face with Lex Luthor, in parentheses, brushing his teeth. He was also surprised to see her.
Lois Lane? I will admit, that was like, Lois Lane? We're like, what are you doing? You're like tooth rusted mouth, and you're like, this
what?
is weird.
Next note. Time for the villain monologue / interview with Lex.
That's okay. Again, dislike Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta say that. But goddamn,
the way that it was written was very good.
It was written was so good. Of like, come on, tell me, like Lex looking at Lois, going, "Tell me, say Superman," and he just screams wrong because he's gotten the best of Superman because he has kryptonite. Yeah. He knows what the crystals are doing. He is going to F Superman up.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter that he's here. I'm going to kill him, and there's nothing you do about it. And that was like truly the first time in film, I'm going to say it, that Lex was scary.
Yeah. We're talking about in film.
In
I
film.
understand. Or movies,
In movies.
specifically.
Yeah,
We understand that he's been terrifying in other medium.
yeah, and then Rosenberg did a pretty good job in Smallville. There were times like, oh man, his acting as Lex Luthor was, holy shit.
Perry, Richard, and now Clark are looking for Lois. Lex shows his whole plan, and you can tell Kitty didn't know, and she is not on board. It's just like Lex to underestimate his female companion.
You're right. It was a beautiful,
every time.
It was a beautiful shot.
He doesn't learn. He didn't learn from Prometheus. He didn't learn from Miss Tessmacher. Now he's trying it with Kitty. And it's just like, really?
He's telling this whole plan to Lois, and there's the scene where Kitty just looks concerned.
Yeah.
And like just idea of like, oh shit, he is that evil.
Yeah.
He's not kooky comic book evil. He's straight up gonna kill millions of people.
Yeah. On purpose.
On purpose.
Lois sends an SOS fax with their coordinates.
On a boat.
On a boat.
In the sea.
Yes. Middle of the sea. Lex throws a whole crystal inside a kryptonite tube into the ocean so that it will grow.
Yeah. That was a cool idea.
It was a cool idea, but again, how's he going to fertilize this land?
Yeah.
How long will people live?
Yeah. Agreed.
The security guard realizes about the fax and goes after Lois. Then her kid, Deus Ex, throws a whole piano into this guy.
Yeah, there's a scene of like Jason playing music.
Yeah.
And then one of the bad guys jumps in with Jason, starts playing music with him.
Yeah.
Lois sends this fax, and the bad guy starts beating the crap out of her. They're just pushing her around.
Yeah.
And Lois is trying to defend herself, and Jason, who is asthmatic and just taking all sorts of vitamins and whatnot, starts wheezing.
Yeah.
And then just throws.
Yeah. That being said, I very much appreciate that Lex is just like, wait, whose kid is this?
Yeah, because he had the kryptonite and like got close to Lois, and Jason starts wheezing again, and he's like, what?
Who's this child?
Whose child is this?
Who is his father?
Yeah.
Let's explain it. Let's talk about this, Lois. Lois is just like, Richard.
It's Richard's kid. Uh-huh. And that's
sure.
No. Keep on going. I know where it's at.
Lois and Jason get locked into the pantry. Back at the planet, the fax mostly comes through, and Richard recognizes the coordinates because Richard is no slacker.
Richard's a good man.
Yeah.
Richard's a good man.
He knows his stuff.
He knows his shit.
Superman takes off flying and sees the seabed crack splitting towards Metropolis. Who does he save first? He always has this problem.
Yeah.
This is the reason that Jor-El told him in the Donner Cut that he had to give up his powers if he wanted to be with a human.
Yes.
Because Jor-El knew that Kal-El would always put family first above the needs of the world.
Yeah.
And I'm just there like, but Jor-El, she's still alive. Like, even if he's not with her, she's still alive. Like, what are you going to do?
Right.
Jimmy and Perry start looking at different things. This is the scene where, like, they're looking at opposite sides of the planet and, like, it cracks in between them and they almost fall down the building.
Yeah, because of Lex throwing that kryptonite crystal into the water. It starts breaking Metropolis in half, and like earthquakes start happening.
Yeah.
And all sorts of different things start blowing up, and the planet starts falling. The literal planet
on the Daily Planet
falls, and you see Clark just blow through it and catch the damn thing. Great shot again.
Very cool.
Great, beautiful sequence.
Very
great
cool.
shot. He's going through ice or super breath, blowing out like gas fires and whatnot. Like he does a lot because he knows he has to save the people.
Yeah.
Instead of Lois.
Yeah. So like you said, the crack hits Metropolis and Superman has his hands full trying to save everyone. The land is starting to come up from the sea. So, whatever's growing from this crystal. Lois, Richard, and Jason almost drowned. So Richard finds Lois and Jason and like tries to save them, is almost there, but like can't quite reach.
I'm gonna roll back real fast.
And the door shuts as well.
Gonna roll back real fast because what I like about this is Lois kind of looks at Jason when they get locked into that closet. He's like, almost is like, baby,
You want to try the door?
can you do it? Can you do something for mommy, please? And I actually really kind of love that. And he's like,
yeah.
I might be misremembering. Doesn't he kind of like go up and like, no, I can't do it? Or does he just say, no, I can't? I actually don't remember.
I don't remember.
And then she's like, oh no, it's okay. And so she keeps on trying to figure it out. And then finally, I think he tries to go up again.
Yeah.
And then when he does, it just opens up and it's Richard.
Yeah.
And he gets them. And then
like Lois gets hurt. She hits her head. She blacks out. Richard is trying to like swim. Like the boat is sinking.
The boat's sinking. They like
it got hit by the land and it's sinking.
Yeah, like
it's Titanicing. It's the front half went down. The back half is like filling up with water. Like it's
Lex
a whole
got
thing.
off Lex and the goons got off the yacht because they're like one of the henchmen got hit with a piano and he's like, oh, it's time to go.
Yeah.
He knows now. He 100% knows.
Yeah.
And then that whole sequence happens and there's Richard holding on to Lois because Lois hit her head.
Yeah.
Jason's on his back and this bitch is holding on to both of them, treading water. And I'm like, God damn.
Yeah.
The world does not deserve Richard White. Holy shit, this man is amazing.
Like the door of the pantry just shuts on him and he's just like trying to get it open. Then Superman lands on it, gets all three of them out back into Richard's plane. And
that was a cool but weird scene because like it sinks, like the Titanic, it cracks in half and you see it start falling. And then all of a sudden you see the boots land on that window.
Yeah.
And there's Superman just kind of looking at it and raising up. It's beautifully shot, but it's a very weird scene because Brandon Routh's just standing there.
And also like he didn't need to lift the whole thing out of the water.
He didn't, but like to flex on everyone, he did.
Yeah.
10 feet, 100 feet off the water.
And it's just like
opens the doors like, you got them? He's like, uh-huh. Grabs Richard's hand and then drops this half of this boat.
It's just
so
like
cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still cool because you have to show some cool shots.
Yeah. Like gotta remind everybody that Superman is strong.
Yep.
Next note that I have is Superman confronts Lex on the kryptonite encased land that looks like the fortress.
Yes. Yeah, he got Richard and everyone off and flew through them because the water was too choppy. Yeah. And he went after Lex and everyone and come to find out that it's just it's kryptonite fortress of solitude.
Land. Yeah. Lex hits Superman and actually knocks him back. Lois wakes up in the plane and tells Richard that they have to turn back to save Superman from Lex's plan.
Yes.
Superman gets the absolute shit beaten out of him and then stabbed by a shard of kryptonite. As a note, it does take 3 goons to take down a kryptonite poisoned Superman. So he is still holding his own.
He's still holding his own. It was brutal.
It was.
Like, it was...
I have on here.
It was hard to watch.
It was a bad day for him.
It was a bad day.
That was in my notes.
It was kind of hard to watch. I was like, shit, he really is getting the shit beat out of him. This is like watching John Wick beat the hell out of someone.
Yeah. Then he falls or is thrown off a cliff? I have falls off a cliff, but I'm not sure.
Okay. Now fly. He said, like,
plunging into the icy waves below, Lex sees him off as Superman starts to hear the voice of Jor-El teaching him. I don't remember what he was teaching him, but Jor-El shows up in voice form. Probably more about father, son, father dies. Like, who knows?
Father dies. Jesus.
The father dies so the son can live or something. I don't know. Richard is back with the plane searching for Superman. Jason sees him.
Superman's down there.
Lois saves Superman for once.
Yeah, she's the one. I'm like, I put in my mind that of course she jumps in.
Yeah,
she's the one that jumps in. I get that.
They make it out in the plane. Lois pulls the kryptonite shard out of Superman and throws it out of the plane. Superman says goodbye, flying up into the sun to heal before diving back down to take on his arch nemesis, who craves nothing less than Superman's death.
I am a full sucker for any time Superman flies up in the sun and heals.
I know.
I'm a full ass sucker for that. It's done right. It's always great. And you see him just healing. And then all of a sudden, Clark is flying down there using his laser eyes to open up this, the clouds.
Don't ruin my notes. I get all poetic here at the end.
All right. I'll let you go.
Superman dives below the Earth's crust, seeking to destroy the Kryptonian monstrosity with lava from the heart of the Earth. That's what it looked like.
It is what it looked like. I liked what I was saying is that because of this Krypton landmass, like lightning and clouds were happening.
Yeah.
And so Superman uses his laser eyes to open up a freaking hole to keep himself surrounded by sun.
Yeah.
That's
it is really
dope
cool.
as hell, man.
It's very cool. Kitty, meanwhile, is clearly having second thoughts about helping Lex. She didn't know there was a death count, or at least not how high it would be. It's hard to tell which one, but, second thoughts. The landmass starts to break apart. Lex passes the crystals off to Kitty, who then finds a way to dump them out of the helicopter. Again, Lex constantly underestimates his companion.
Agreed.
We find out Superman dove below the Earth's crust to get to the Kryptonian landmass and pull it out by the roots, sending it up into space.
Again, dope as hell.
The kryptonite pieces break through the bottom of the landmass, seeking out Superman. They are called to his presence, poisoning him.
Jesus.
Superman pushes the landmass away from the Earth, but it's too late for him. He hurtles back into Earth's atmosphere, lifeless, not moving. He lands in Central Park under a cloudy sky.
I'm really sad that we can't take laptops into James Gunn's Superman.
That would be cool.
Because
we might need to see it a couple times.
We're going to have to see it like 4 or 5 times before we come do this on podcast.
The good citizens of Metropolis rush him to the hospital, ready to treat him however they can. They get the final sliver of kryptonite out of his stab wound, trying to restart his heart, but they only succeed in short-circuiting the hospital. Whole hospital. Richard and Perry look at a newspaper headline. Superman is dead.
Or Superman lives.
Or Superman lives.
No, there were 2 of them.
Yeah. Jason drew a picture of Superman saving him, Lois, and Richard. Lois goes to the hospital and takes Jason with her because, she's got to flex. They get into the hospital and go to see Superman, who looks suspiciously like Clark. Did Jason say something about that?
No, there was a scene in the movie where, like, Clark is standing in front of him, and it was that montage of, like,
yeah,
on the TV.
Like, he kind of realizes.
And he realized it because he just kind of does this, and he was like, and then takes the hit of the inhaler. But, like, Jason really kind of puts together, like, oh, my God.
Oh, he definitely does.
On a side note, real fast, did you notice something that happened? The difference between Clark and Superman? Sideburns.
Oh.
Brandon Routh as Clark had sideburns.
Magic sideburns. They appear and disappear.
It looked like they like tucked it behind or something, but he didn't
have
have sideburns.
Yeah.
I noticed that. Like I was like,
the power of gel.
Where
or something?
Oh my God,
I don't know.
Helmet.
Oh my God.
The helmet of Superman killed me.
It was not going anywhere. Lois finally comes clean about Jason being Superman's child from the time that they boned in the Fortress of Solitude in the Donner Cut.
To now, Jason has now half Kryptonian. Maybe that's why this 5-year-old looks 15. I don't know.
Seriously. Lex and Kitty are on a deserted island, stranded with no gas left. Superman escapes the hospital. Then we cut to Lois at home staring at a screen with the headline, Why the World Needs Superman. So a complete 180 from before.
Yep.
Then I have a note saying writer's block is a bitch. Because it is. Upstairs, Superman has come to see his child and gives a sweet speech. Hope he doesn't abandon the kid again.
It's also very creepy that he gets into the window of a child.
Again, both Clark and Superman are very stalkerish.
Very creepy in this movie.
Very much.
Again, it goes back to the father and son speech, which hits me hard every single time.
Yeah.
But looking at it now, I'm like, dude, you climbed into the window of a child.
Oh no, he flew in.
Flew into the window of a child. That's very creepy. Very
but like it's his own child, so
I get
less
it,
creepy.
Creepy, but I'm looking at the sentimental side of this one of just like being, oh, you are my son.
Mm-hmm.
My life will be seen through your eyes. My strength will be your strength. The father becomes the son, and the son becomes
my weakness will be your strength.
My strength will become your strength. I think that's what
something
like that. Creepy, but okay, cool.
Then I have Lois sees Superman and feels better that he'll always be around, but she'll never know how close.
Again, creepy. And then Jason waves by.
Bye.
And then normal Superman flying around the earth, and then credits.
Welcome to recapping the movie with Rose.
You know what? This is going to be a bit now.
I don't think it's a bit when it's this long.
Well, no, it's not. But this is how we're going to do it now. You're going to recap all the movies. You get to take all these notes. It's going to be great. And then I'm going to put context behind your notes, which makes a lot of sense now. Which is, I absolutely love this. That was great. It was actually a really good recap from start to finish.
Yeah.
And then the interjection of like, oh, there was this and there was this and all this stuff. So, at the end of all of our podcasts, what do? We give you the kernel, the pop, or the kernel, the corn, and the pop. Rose, break this down because I don't have that up in front of me right now.
It's literally right there.
Oh, hey, look at that.
The pop is a positive highlight, possibly lives rent-free in your head. It's the idea that came to full fruition, and you love it. It's the best part of the movie.
The corn, an opportunity for improvement. What could have done better? A character storyline you wish you had been explained or developed more. It's the bit that never popped, but had the potential to.
And the kernel. This is something negative or something that disappointed you. It's the bit that gets stuck in your teeth and you just want to work it free so that you can get on with your day.
Yes.
Are we starting from the pop or the kernel?
We're starting from the kernel because you got to start from the worst and go to the best.
So give us your kernel, John. I've been talking.
You've been talking a lot, and I respect it. I'm going to say my kernel's this damn story. It is rehashed Superman 1 with the kid, and the kid just happens to be there. There was no, like, you could have made it a little more interesting with the kid, but for me, it always felt like Lex it's obsessed about land. That's what it was. His big plan was in Superman 1, and that's his big plan in Superman Returns. And I just kind of wish we got something a little different. You grew up with these movies, which I did. Like, I knew Superman 1 and I watched them and all that stuff. And you're like, wait, so instead of knocking California off, you're
just going to have this new landmass grow.
You're gonna have new landmass grow.
And take over the U.S.
Which, at least, in like what you've been calling out, at least partially knocking off California, you have land that you could try and fertilize and create into something that on top that you could like grow crops and build up that kind of empire as well, owning all that land. You don't know what you're going to get with this Kryptonian landmass.
Yeah.
And you got a dark fortress of solitude.
Yeah.
You're not going to do anything with that.
Yeah.
Like, what was your plan after I'm going to create land?
Yeah. There was no plan after that.
There was no plan. So it was that, oh man, I see that there could have been a better story, or you could have worked the story a little bit more, made the child, made Jason a little more prominent or a little more defined. And in that realm, kind of give us an idea of what the shit is this movie when it comes to, is it a sequel to the Donner Cut? Is it its own thing? Like, you solidify that they boned.
Yeah.
So it has to be a Donner Cut thing
because Jason has powers.
Because Jason has powers.
Because in the theatrical release, they boned after he lost powers.
After he lost his powers. So this has to be a Donner Cut thing, unless you're just saying, hey, they did it, which is fine too. I don't have a problem with that. But then you throw in all these little things.
There would still be the genes for that. So I don't know.
But then the time of he's been gone for 5 years, which means
this child should be younger.
And then there's still the thing, like, Kitty's like, oh, you've been here before, Lex? And he's like, yes, sort of. And
yes, but no.
But you're like, okay, so where do we land on this? That's my kernel. There was just so many weird story plot holes.
Yeah.
That I can look past a lot of, trust me, I look past a lot of plot holes. But when you're like, you get so close to saying, yes, this is a sequel, but then you're like, nah, you
Nah,
can interpret it the way you
kidding.
want. I'm kind of like, well, you're kind of pissing me off, to be honest with you. Give me your kernel.
The kid. I was more specific than the story. He was unfortunately dead weight through most of the movie, even though he was the entire point of the movie. Also, he was not 5 years old.
That's fair. That's very, very fair. Corn. My corn.
Oh, you're going first again?
No, go first. I'm sorry. Go first.
Jerk.
Do it. I'm sorry.
Kal Penn, his character. I had no idea who he was or why he was highlighted with the mini city in the basement, and I wish that there had been an explanation. I know that during the watch along, you actually mentioned he was supposed to get some character development.
His role is so much bigger than
but the editing room struck again.
Yeah, his character worked for. I'm going to butcher this. It's either the Daily Planet or some in NASA in some way, shape, or form. And he lost his job in some way thanks to Superman. I don't remember how this worked. And
if you get the membership, John actually remembered in the watch along.
I do remember it in the watch along. And like Kal Penn makes it to where the radio waves of, he was one of the scientists that go, hey, Krypton still might be there, which causes Superman to go.
Yeah.
And that's a more compelling and interesting idea of having Kal Penn being the reason Superman left and not a lackey.
Yeah.
And I say that in full support of I love Kal Penn.
Yeah.
And he should not be relegated to a lackey.
Yeah. What was your corn?
Brandon Routh is a great Clark and a decent Superman.
Okay.
I felt like the writing let him down.
Yeah.
Like there were certain scenes in, like, I didn't want to interject if you were just running and gunning the whole plot thing, but there were certain times when I was like, man, I wish he slouched a little bit and did the Chris Reeves thing. And then, but he got the voices right because, like, when he was talking to Jason,
he didn't really try and change posture.
No, he didn't try and change
between
posture.
the two.
Yeah, and I'm like, I know you're a great actor. Actually, I do know that, and I just wish like the posture was a little different, and like he had the dorkiness, and because there was the scene when Richard was talking to Lois when they were kind of burning the midnight oil with Clark about the power outage. And Jason or Richard just goes, hey, Lois, how tall is Superman? Is 6'4", and kind of gives the whole breakdown of everyone of Superman, like kryptonite, radioactive stuff, see-through walls, but lead.
Still remembers everything.
Remembers everything. But yeah, he's like 6'4", 220, and something like that. And Richard looks at Clark because he's on the other side of the bullpen, and he goes, how tall do you think Clark is? About 6'4". And he goes, what you thinking? 210, 215? And then, like, you can tell Clark is listening.
Yeah.
Or they show him, like, doing that, like, echo wave listening where, like, it's garbled. And he just kind of looks over, goof-ass smile. And I'm like, yes, that's Clark. Yeah. That's freaking Clark.
Be goofy.
Be goofy with it. And that was, like, the only time he was actually goofy. That, and then the first time he, like, truly talks to Jason, he has that, oh, hello. And, like, he pitched up his voice a little bit. Yeah. And then when he talks to Lois as Superman, he has that, not the David Cornswet, sweet Jesus Christ, take me away, God. Like, Miss Lane. And I'm like, oh my God, hell yes. Yes, please, sir. But just, you could tell that he knew he had to switch. I just wish the posture switched a little bit more.
Yeah.
That was my corn. Like, you were almost there.
Yeah. I want to go first on pop because I think that mine is very weak.
Okay.
Because I was a little tired and I was having a hard time finding a pop.
Okay, go first on a pop.
So I went with how smart Lex is.
Fair.
Because I feel like this is like the first movie to really show that he was the mastermind that knew the answers before the question was asked and just wanted to wreak havoc. He also had a plan to destroy most of the world while still keeping people around to rule over them. There was still the issue of what's going to happen with the land. How is he going to feed the people? So, like, still not amazing, but his character was given the most credit in this movie.
Very fair, and I respect that. Because you're right. That's a good pop. I like it.
So possibly the best version of a villain that we've seen in Superman live action movies so far.
Fair.
What's your pop?
I have two, and I've already said them, but I'm going to reiterate and tell and kind of explain why. I truly love the father becomes the son and the son becomes the father speech. I think it is as a son, as the eldest son, it's beautiful, and as you get to a
You're
point.
also the only son.
I'm also the only son. So if I tear up, I'm sorry, but it really does kind of hit me hard when it comes to that speech, because you really see, like, when you take that step back as a son, you're like, oh my God, I will become. We're not going to become father, but like I'm not going to become a father, but because I understand what my dad went through and how he made me the man that I am. You really that speech really hits you when you get to that point of like actual adulthood, depending on whatever the definition of father is to you. That I don't really. That's two moms, dude. I don't really care. But just talking from my point of view, like you really start registering that like concept of, oh, this is what my dad did for me, and how I have become the man that he wanted me to become because of what he did, and there will become a time when I will have to take care of him and my mom and whatnot. And so that's always struck me, and like, I'm sorry, I'm actually tearing up right now. And it's always been like a weird driving force for me
Yeah. No, that's very fair.
that that's I choose to take care of my parents.
Yeah.
And so like when this movie came out, it was just kind of a tumultuous time for me in college and in life. So again, sorry, I'm tearing up a little bit, but
It was a rough time for you.
it was a rough time. But hearing that speech, I'm like, oh fudge, I understand it now. I get.
You're just like, I gotta go call my dad.
I gotta go call my dad. I get it, and just that weird thing. Like I didn't really get it with Superman 2
Sure.
or the Donner cut. It never really the Donner cut didn't come out, so I didn't really fully understand that speech.
No.
But it was this, and like as creepy as it is, Clark being in that room with that kid. I remember watching this movie and I started bawling because I was like, oh. I get it now.
Look, we were much more innocent in 2006. I don't think that either one of us clocked how creepy
that was.
Clark was.
Yeah.
Like, neither one of us noticed the stalkerish tendencies because we were young.
We're young and we're
It's
naive,
okay.
but it's okay. We can call it out now. We call it bullshit. But yeah, that's kind of like it. And I know it's a personal pop for mine. It's because it always, anytime I hear that, it always is that reminder. It's
supposed to be personal.
Yeah, and it is, and it always will be. And I that's kind of a weird low key that no one really knows until now, because I'm saying it out loud. A driving force of mine is I understand the role that I want to play in this world, and like deep down I know we made CouchCapades to make people laugh, and we know we never wanted to be role models, but we are role models to a lot of people, and people come hang out on this couch and talk with us, and we get to have fun, we get to make you laugh, and we want to be good people. And there's this like our tendencies, our way of thinking of this world, what like everyone is welcome on this couch is so ingrained by the idea of that speech.
Yeah.
For me. So that's always the pop. That will always be kind of a weird driving force for me. On top of just the people calling out for the savior and I can hear them. Yeah. I love that scene too, but the personal I know who I need to be because of that speech, because that was that click in moment at the tender age of, God, I was 18, 17, roughly. 18, 19, something like that. And I was like, oh shit.
Wait, this came out in 2006?
2006, yeah.
You would have been 20.
Oh shit, I was 20.
Or 19 or 20.
19 or 20. Okay.
19. Yeah. It was before your birthday.
Yeah. So yeah, I was 19 when this movie came out, and that was the first step of understanding growing up.
Yeah.
So that speech will always be like personal to me. So that is my pop. Well,
we survived.
We survived an hour and a half. But you know,
if you're still here, we love you.
I love you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Honestly, thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you if you've gotten that membership for the tier 2 subs, so you can watch along with us.
Plus, you get all of our Let's Plays 24 hours early.
Exactly. I was gonna say we're gonna be off next week. No, we're not. We're gonna have a Now to Play for you guys. We got Let's Plays going all the time. We got podcasts. We got live stream podcasts, all that fun stuff. No watch along for the next a side of popcorn because it is finally here. We're going to be seeing and watching, reviewing James Gunn's Superman.
I'm so excited.
I'm so freaking excited for this. You have no idea. We got early tickets.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So we're still going to release it the normal time for you guys. So hopefully you go see it multiple times. Jump in, chat with us, talk to us, jump in the Discord. We're going to have a great time.
Yes.
You guys are the absolute best. Thank you so much for liking, subscribing, following on YouTube. You're listening to us on a podcast service, rating, reviewing us. All of that helps find the couch, find us hanging out, talking movies, getting personal, and having a good time. Peace, love, and potatoes. We love you. See you later.
Bye.